in Mississauga I was talking to the other day, and he came to see me because he was concerned. He's only in the 50s or so. And why? Because his neighbor, a Punjabi guy living just next to him, died suddenly at the age of 40. And he wants to know what his chance is. And this is happening. And why? Yesterday, I was up at a Sikh temple in Brampton, talking to some people about what can you do to change this. So what are the facts? We started with O'Can. Everybody came here for a Canadian dream. For a better life for ourselves, for the children, for the community, for everyone. We arrived healthy. But there's a thing called the healthy immigrant effect, where we come in healthy, and within 5-10 years, we are no longer healthy. So why do you think that is so? Who has any answers? This is a fact. It's published. Everybody knows this. You know, ask yourselves, look at your community, look at people you know. Why is this happening? Does anybody have any good ideas of why this happens? We come for the Canadian dream, and 5-10 years later, people are sicker than before. So it's a problem. 50 years ago, exactly 50 years ago, in Singapore was reported heart disease in young Indian people 10 years earlier, and now diabetes, earlier than everyone else. A study was published by ISIS at the University of Toronto a couple of weeks ago, saying that there are more risk factors in ethnic people, South Asians, blacks, than whites. For some reason, our diet and lifestyle has failed us. But we came, remember, we came healthy. So we have not adapted to this environment. Indian people are made and finely tuned to be very efficient when there's not plenty. You do excellent. You are better off. You're the best people in the world in a country and an environment when there's not plenty. You store your fat that you eat. And whoever stores the fat in a country of lack of resources will do better. And we store it so efficiently that it goes to the belly. So we all know that. But when you come to a country where there's more food than you need, that efficiency backfires and it gets worse. And now we know that you don't have to worry about your BMI or your weight as much. You still have to worry about the weight, but not as much. You just measure your waist. I think last year I brought a tape measure, I forgot it. All you have to do to find out your risk is measure your waist. And if you have a little extra fat in there, that causes high cholesterol, diabetes, blood pressure, everything else. So that's your biggest risk. But remember, there are many people who are slim and still have risk. You have to look for hidden risks. So this increased risk of heart disease has consequences. The Honorable Minister Thakkar talks about economic consequences and the economic future of India. The World Health Organization has announced that chronic diseases, heart disease and diabetes, will risk the economic future of India and consequently diaspora, which means us. So we can talk as much as we want about Indian people having great skills in IT and great development and making a lot of money in transport and whatever else and technology. But when their people are dying young, in the prime of their life, the economic future of that person, their family, and the consequences to the community is at risk. And the economic future of India is at risk. People talk about India rising. There is no such thing as India rising if you do not treat the high blood pressure, the diabetes, and the chronic diseases that are hitting young people in India and across the diaspora and our children and grandchildren right now. So what do we do about it? We talk, and talking is not enough. A lot of education is here, and it's excellent. We have to talk, we have to teach. But we have to go beyond teaching. How many people here have grandchildren? Many, I'm sure. So when the grandchildren come over, what do? You spoil them. Why? Because you're supposed to spoil them. You're in a country of plenty. And they're young, they're going to grow out of it. You give them anything they want. All the leftover ice cream goes to grandchildren. All the sweet stuff. So we know what to do. Dr. Dharmalingam told you, everything he says about diabetes, we do the same for heart disease. And Mr. Sandy Kisun Singh told you what to do. We know what to do. So let me ask you the question. Everybody knows what to do. Why is it that as the years go by, we all put on weight, our blood pressure rises, our cholesterol rises, and we come down with heart disease and diabetes 10 years before anybody else in this world? And our 41-year-old and 50-year-old people who are neighbors die suddenly of heart attacks. Why do we allow this? Are we not here for the Canadian dream? Don't we want better? Don't we deserve better? The South Asian Heritage Month that was announced, we have proposed that there should be South Asian Health Month, South Asian Heart Month, to piggyback on that. So let me come back to a few concluding comments about what we can do. You can talk to your healthcare advisor, your doctors, everyone else, the Heart and Stroke Resources. It's very simple. You eat less. Very simple, eat less. We eat too much. Portion control, eat a little bit less. Choose healthy foods. Make sure there is healthy food in any menu, and refuse to go to a restaurant or attend functions unless you are provided healthy options. And that's why I don't get invited twice. Insist on this. If you don't, you are destined and dooming yourself to continuing exactly the same. And we cannot continue exactly the same. So, rather than us lecturing you, I challenge everybody here today. This is your opportunity for change. What we need to teach you and what we need to learn from you is how to change. The reason I went to the Sikh temple yesterday is not to lecture them, but I was talking to them. And very interesting, I met someone, Mr. Baldev was one of the temples, and we started talking about health promotion. And you know what he said to me? Let's go for a walk and talk. So we were not sitting down at the table and talking. He took me for a walk. So we burned some calories. So I want you to start doing that. When you have something to do, throw in something else. Burn some calories while you're talking. Don't just sit down. The problem we face is not a simple problem. We can call it simple. You eat less, more healthy food, exercise more, be less stressed. That's very straightforward. But how you achieve it is complex. And we have to learn how to deal with complex problems. And complex problems, we don't sit down and talk about it and decide what to do. And decide and make a plan and then wait 5 years to see if it works. Each and every one of us starts today with your own plan. We have leaders who can tell us things. I'm a leader, I can tell you things, but it's not going to do any good because you're going to ignore everything I say. I want you to become your own leader. Every single person here is a leader. You're a leader of your own life. You're a leader of your own future. There's a book by Robin Sharma. Buy it and read it. The leader who has no title. You take control of your own life. You become the leader and become the leader for yourself. You make the changes and put things in place that will make sure you make the changes. We heard beautiful music just now on time. Now, I spend time and I listen to this music and I watch Bollywood movies, but I don't just sit on the couch and do it. I'm on a treadmill when I do it. Do things like that. So in conclusion, the World Health Organization says at least 80% of chronic diseases, diabetes and heart disease, which is what a problem is, could be prevented by healthy diet, regular physical activity, and not smoking. So let's use that as an example of what you can do today. Not just what you can do today, but you come up with the solutions. Because if you don't come up with the solutions, it's not going to happen. And talk among yourselves, do it, and tell your leaders. And you put little things in place. So we have tremendous tradition. Indian and South Asians have a tremendous tradition of health. Let's go back to our shared tradition of health. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Rambihar. And on behalf of Sharing Rich Traditions, we would like to present a certificate of appreciation. Again, I would say, please listen to the doctor. We've had 2 doctors, and by the way, our speakers tonight, they're all here without having asked for. It is a little bit smaller, so I worked on that. I'm slimmer today, but then he told me there are some hidden factors. And Dr. Rambihar mentioned, he went and Mr. Baldev took him for a walk while he was talking. I try that at home. When my wife is talking to me, I try walking, and in individual decision-making about health and societal decision-making about health. There is family decision-making. My wife showed up on a Tuesday. She brought something from Fortino's, and it was not chicken, and it was not chickpeas. It was something to do with frosting and icing and all those nice stuff. And so I thought for myself, did I miss a birthday? Did I miss an anniversary? So I asked her, what are we celebrating? She said, we're just celebrating something that they make that is special. So we have to be careful how we celebrate. Making those decisions around what's on the menu for tonight at the family level. So somewhere between individual and societal responsibility, there is family responsibility. And that's very important. So thanks, Dr. Dharmalingam and Dr. Rambihar for leading us down this way. If you can show appreciation to them, maybe they might come back next year. So, one body of research suggests that a major factor of heart disease is not what the good doctor talked about.